All right, everybody. Show of hands. Who recognizes this engine? This is the IMCA spec engine that was dry sumped, and we converted it over to wet sump and used that single stage wet sump pump, external wet sump pump. I kind of feel a little bit responsible on this one, but I should have inquired about, can we put the connection for the oil line up higher on the pan. They bottomed out the car. Here is where that got torn off. So, like I say, let's get the pan off and see how bad it is. Okay. You can see how those are, they're supposed to be this color. And they're not. They are that color. And this is no, this isn't standard Chevrolet oiling. It oils from the front. Let's see, with front oiling, how does that work? Okay, it oils the mains first, then runs down and oils the top end. When you oil it from the, typically when we pull it in from the back, if we oil from back here, it does everything at once towards the front. This is set up to oil from the front, so it oils the rods and mains first and then runs the back and catches the top end. So like I say, this is a shame. It was a decent running piece, but how do I say that? It's all over now. We need to fabricate a pickup, probably out of this. Put it in this pan, as you can see there, and installed on this engine. I myself am not in favor of taking dry sump pumps off engines and making them into wet sumps, but to be fair, it does take some weight out of the car. These engines are only turning, I think they're chipped at 8,000 RPM. So let's get started. What we're going to start doing is we're going to, where these two black marks are, we're going to notch that area there. And here's the pickup, so it'll recess back in there. So we'll cut that off. And then that hole in the bottom, well, let's do this first, and then we'll get to the hole in the bottom. Let's put our straight edge in there. Actually, I believe we got it back far enough. I'm going to clean the gasket surface up. Tomorrow I'm going to go over and help the guy finish the oil pan. But in the meantime, I can have this thing all cleaned up and take the valve covers off. I do want to run a vent line from the oil pan, which it has a fitting in it in the front to do that, up to the valve cover. It just seems like these wet sump engines, when you do that, it actually seems to help them. But we're probably going to have to get a fitting welded into those valve covers. So I'm going to finish cleaning this up. Again, it's boring as heck, and all I'm hitting you with right now is useless dialogue. So I'm going to shut the camera off, clean this up, do everything we just talked about, go over tomorrow morning, help him finish that oil pan up, and we'll come back and put it together. And here is a picture of our pickup tube, which we have welded in a different location. Okay, and like I was stating earlier, I like these pans better because these tubes here isolate the fastener from the interior of the pan, so assembling is like really way easier like that. So we will, and you'll notice I trimmed our tray to fit around the newly installed pickup tube. That goes in there like that. Apply some Loctite fasteners. We're ready to put this on. Okay, I'm going to do that, and we'll be right back. Okay, if you notice, pan is on, shop is a mess, and I just discovered that this is Monday. They're not picking us up till Saturday. I thought they were coming and like, call me as soon as it's done. Gotta have it. So we still have to change the valve covers. Have a fitting welded in the valve cover, and adjust the valve lash. Or check the valve lash anyway. So we're going to move to the clean side of the shop where there's more room and pick up from there. Alright, valve lash is set. There's a screeching noise outside. I was distracted by it. Valve lash is set. And we've checked all the springs on the other side. And everything's checked about 250, 260 on the seat. Which I'm going to say the same thing I always do. When you're pulling this, make sure you don't pull it so far that you pop the push rod tip out of the cup of the rocker room. Alright, valve lash and springs. Valve lash set, springs are checked. We got to pop that fuel pump off and then get the valve covers and spark plugs in it and load her on up. Alright, we're getting ready to send this one out the door, and we keep finding little things that need addressed. This threads and this stud are boogered up. Okay, that's done. All right, we have no footage of your heat race.
Okay. Well, yeah, we started 5th or 6th or something like that, and just ran a consistent bottom to middle line, and they were all run top, and a few mistakes by them, and we were just able to get around them was the heat race. And then
so you started 6th in the heat and won the heat race?
Yep. And so yeah, them, I don't know if we would have got around the leader if they didn't mess up a little bit, wobble a little bit, but thankfully we were able to do that. And then yeah, then we got to the feature, and track got real slick, and we can run bottom pretty decent, especially when we get the shocks and everything right. Everything felt great tonight. So yeah, that helped us get it done.
Oil pressure stayed good, water temp stayed down?
Everything stayed, yeah, believe it or not. We had a little bit of trouble. I thought on Thursday it got a little hot, like 240, 250, not killer, but pretty hot. And then the past 2 nights we've been running even harder. I think the motor even harder than we were Thursday, and it stayed at like 180. So I don't know why what's making the difference or what, but I guess Thursday was pretty dang hot out.
Now you seem to get a good rhythm in the feature.
Yeah.
And there were several cautions.
Yeah, that's yeah, after the second caution, it finally I think I found my groove finally, and then we got a good long, probably 10-15 lap green flag, and finally found out what I wanted to run, and just tried not to make as few mistakes as possible.
Did you have to watch the throttle coming off? Could you put it to the floor right away?
No, I would try to wait for it to carry all the way around the corner and get us to the traction, which is coming out of the corner as far as I could before I hit it. Usually you like to hit it like in the middle of the corner, but I was trying to hold it as long as I could before I hit it, so that I'd get the traction and then get the tail end out going down the straightaway.
All right, Kale, you nailed the car setup and you drove perfectly, because that engine's lapped out and long overdue for a rebuild.
I can't complain too much about it. It got me a win, so I think it's been pretty good.